special interest matters. And our first contribution this morning comes from the Honourable Member for Elwick.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to speak about Aurora Disability Services, which is located in Glenorchy in the heartland in my electorate of Elwick. It gives me great pleasure to welcome special guests from Aurora to the chamber today. We have Aurora's founding and managing director of services, Mrs. Joy Carnes, OAM, Executive Officer Ms. Angelique Payne, Resource Officer Mr. Rob Behrman, and Aurora staff and trainees, and I know you'll all join me in welcoming them to our chamber.
Hear, hear.
Mr. President, Aurora is a registered charity that has been a cornerstone of inclusive support for people with disability in our community for over 37 years, and its programs provide critical, person-centred learning opportunities that empower people with disability to lead full, independent and dignified lives. It is because of organisations like Aurora that society has come such a long way when it comes to the way we view disability. No longer confined to narrow stereotypes or defined solely by limitations, people with disability are increasingly asserting their rights, talents and voices and making invaluable contributions to our community. Aurora's Day Support program operates from 4 facilities: the Industry and Hospitality base in Mill Lane, where clients undertake Certificate 1 in Hospitality training, a catering enterprise and boutique cottage craft industry, the Old Chapel Tea Rooms in Chapel Street, where participants operate their own business venture and public tea rooms, the Car Yard Cafe in Derwent Park, right near my office, where trainees continue to showcase their hospitality to the public, and the Aurora Learning Centre, where clients undertake education projects with personal tutoring. Mr. President, you may recall the wonderful catering that was provided at the recent opening of my electorate office in Derwent Park, and the amazing scones, homemade sausage rolls, beautiful sandwiches, platters and quiches. This was all made, prepared and delivered by the hospitality trainees of Aurora Disability Services, and we thank them very much for that.
Hear, hear.
Last month, Aurora conducted its annual Anzac Biscuit Bake fundraiser, where a staggering 43,910 Anzac biscuits were all made by hand, baked and beautifully wrapped in bundles for distribution to businesses in and around Hobart by Aurora's trainees, using 1.8 tonnes of ingredients. Wow. By Anzac Day Eve, every one of these biscuits were sold, and at one point demand was so great that these biscuits were still warm as they went out the door. Yeah. I'm sure you'll agree this is a phenomenal achievement, and I would like to congratulate the trainees, volunteers and Aurora team for such an outstanding effort. Mr. President, I would now like to speak about the origins of Aurora Disability Services and how from humble beginnings the organisation has come to change the lives of thousands of people living with disability. I'm very grateful to have Ms. Joy Carnes, OAM, with us today, who is the founder of Aurora and Managing Director of Services. 58 years ago, Joy and her husband Graham welcomed their first child into the world, a daughter, Angelique, who is also here with us today. 2 more children followed, Virginia and Laurie, who joins us today, both who were born with intellectual disabilities. Dismayed by the lack of support services and determined to ensure Virginia and Laurie were given every opportunity, Joy led a delegation to government seeking an agreement to provide basic activities and was offered funding on the condition that she coordinate these activities herself. In 1977, Joy started establishing programs including vacation care for children and adults, after-school care, youth groups and evening social opportunities, as well as respite for parents. And in 1980, Joy founded Cosmos, now known as Mosaic, the first fully funded recreation service in Australia specifically designed to support people with disabilities. It's a pretty significant achievement, Mr. President. 7 years later, Cosmos employed 8 full-time and 26 part-time staff and more than 80 volunteers, providing support for over 650 people with disability. A desire to see people with disability given more opportunities to learn and contribute to society saw Joy then established Aurora Disability Services in 1988 to provide vocational training, and 5 years later the Old Chapel Tea Rooms and Cottage Craft Outlet opened, enabling trainees, supported by volunteer staff, to operate a business enterprise. This was followed in 2016 with the opening of the Car Yard Cafe, to extend showcasing of abilities and skills learned to the public. Aurora also strongly believes that every adult, including those living with disability, has a right to continuous learning. And in the year 2000, Aurora created its award-winning Learning Centre. The Learning Centre recognises that education is a basic human right and was established to ensure those living with disability have access to basic literacy and numeracy skills, and ultimately to promote inclusiveness. The Learning Centre has proudly provided this essential pathway to training and employment opportunities for the past 25 years. More recently, Aurora has submitted a state budget application seeking funding to employ a qualified teacher to strengthen and extend its literacy program. I've recently provided a letter of support supporting this request, and I have everything crossed the bid will be successful. Mr. President, on behalf of my community, I would like to thank Joy, who bravely stood up for Virginia and Laurie all those years ago and refused to accept their lives would be defined by disability. From humble beginnings, Aurora Disability Services has enriched and given purpose to thousands of people living with disability, and has provided invaluable support and respite to families, friends and carers. And for that, we, the people of Glenorchy, of Elwick, and I know all of us here in Parliament are truly grateful. So thank you for everything you do.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.